I'm 102 years old. It took me a full century to figure out something I can tell you in about 10 minutes. If you've got the time, I can save you 100 years of doing life wrong. We mistake practicality for intelligence, but they aren't the same. Making the sensible choice might feel like seeking safety, but usually it's just a way to avoid the risks required to actually exist. I am sitting here in a sensible house, surrounded by sensible furniture, wondering where my life went. I was so busy being practical that I forgot to inhabit my own days. For 102 years, I made rational decisions. I never took a gamble. I never made a mess. I never caused a scene. When you follow every rule designed to keep you safe, you can inadvertently erase your entire lived experience. I grew up Swedish Lutheran in Duluth, Minnesota. In my world, you didn't draw attention or make a fuss. You certainly never asked for too much. My mother's response to almost everything was, "That's not practical." Wanting a red dress instead of a brown one, staying up late to read, or even wanting to go to college, it was all dismissed as impractical. I learned the lesson well. I learned to fold up my dreams and hide them away in a drawer, because dreams are not practical, and the Johansons didn't do impractical things. When the desire for approval is weaponized early on, it turns self-denial into a lifelong habit. I was a very good girl for over a century, and what a waste that turned out to be. I rejected entire parts of the world because they were a waste of time or money. I never learned to swim, I never picked up an instrument, and I didn't travel outside Minnesota until I was 63. My politeness meant I never spoke my mind. My modesty meant I never asked for what I wanted. I spent my life avoiding the frivolous. The result is that at 102 years old, I don't know who I am. I can't tell you what makes me happy or what I actually like, because I never allowed myself the freedom to find out. Identity is forged through experimentation. Without the freedom to be impractical, we remain strangers to ourselves, even after 100 years. When I was 23, I had a choice. Carl Johansson was a steady boy who owned a hardware store. He had a predictable income and my parents' enthusiastic approval. Then there was Thomas Brennan. He was an Irish jazz pianist who made me laugh until I couldn't breathe. He wanted to go to Chicago and just see what happened. He was the definition of uncertainty. I married Carl because it was the sensible thing to do. Thomas was a risk, and I had been taught that risks were for people who didn't know better. We had 51 years together. We had the house and the children and the steady income, but our life was a series of routines rather than moments. Looking back, I can't find a single memory that carries the weight of genuine joy. It was all just fine. When Carl died in 1998, I didn't cry. I had been so busy being practical for 5 decades that I had forgotten how to feel anything. The emotional numbness was the price of the safety I thought I wanted. Marrying the safe choice out of fear doesn't protect you. It just guarantees 5 decades of emotional anesthesia. We call it being mature or sensible, but practicality is often just fear wearing a cardigan. The people who told me to be safe weren't happy. They were just scared. The tragedy is that I passed that fear on. I told my son Eric that being an artist wasn't practical, so he became an accountant. I told my daughter Anna that California was too far and too risky, so she stayed close by. I even steered my son Peter away from a woman I thought was too wild. He married someone sensible instead. They're divorced now. My children are in their 70s now. They have the nice houses and the good jobs, but they are just as lost as I am. I thought I was protecting them, but I was just making them small. When we pass our cowardice down as good advice, we aren't helping our children. We are sabotaging their only chance to find out who they are. A practical life isn't safe. It's a life that shrinks. Every time you choose the sensible path over the thing you actually want, you delete a piece of your potential. If you keep shrinking, you eventually disappear. You become a person who technically survives the years without actually experiencing them. I did everything right. I never caused a problem. And yet, at 102, I have nothing but regrets for the things I never did. So be impractical today. Take the trip. Say the thing you're actually thinking. Wear the bright color. Marry the person who makes you laugh. Make a mess and be foolish. It's the only way to arrive at the end of a century with a story worth telling. I still wonder what happened to Thomas Brennan. I heard he moved to Chicago and became a music teacher. I heard he was happy. My first instinct is to tell myself that wondering about him isn't practical. But after 102 years, I've realized the biggest danger isn't failing. It's reaching the end and realizing your biggest what-ifs will never be answered.